So, I guess that most of the World of Tanks player know that there are some tanks in the game that you simply can't miss out on getting yourself one. Not because they are particularly good, fast, powerful or well armored, but because they have something that's, that special topping that makes them quite unique and very wanted and sought after in the World of Tanks community. But what are those tanks, and why are they so special and loved? Well, if you're wondering just that, then you've clicked on the right video, because in today's World of Tanks top 5 video, we're gonna be covering the top 5 tanks that every player must have in their garage. And before we're gonna start the countdown, I just quickly want to say that this list is particularly based on my personal opinion, so please don't dissect me in the comment section for forgetting or misplacing a tank that you would have picked. So now with that out of the way, let's dive straight into the list. So, to kick things off, at the number 5 spot on this list, we have a relatively new kit on the block, so-called the Panzer EBR 105. So, just as a little disclaimer, this spot is not only about the tier 10 Panzer EBR 105, but actually about the entire wheeled French vehicle line, starting from tier 6. But what is so special about them? Well, other than the fact that they have flipping wheels and that they are actually the World of Tanks equivalent of flipping race cars, they have nothing really special going for. I mean, the gun is average, or well, actually even a little bit below average as well. And also, their armor is non-existent as well as their view range, which is quite a bad thing for a light tank if you ask me. But one thing that is definitely not non-existent is their insane speed, special mechanics and the sheer amount of fun that those vehicles are playing. Since once you start to get the hang of them and to learn their playstyle, they are absolutely a blast to play and can really distract you from the regular day-to-day World of Tanks grind while still grinding a real line at the same time. And still, even knowing the French wheeled vehicles line can be quite frustrating as well sometimes, mainly because of the lack of view range and firepower, but it is the latest and newest addition to World of Tanks, which makes it in my opinion yet exciting and refreshing to play. But this opinion can differ a lot of course, since the French wheeled line is not to everyone's liking, and I can highly understand that. And that is why I think everyone should at least try the French wheeled vehicle line, just to see if it is something for you or not. And if not, then don't worry, because we still have 4 more tanks to go that will definitely suit your liking if this line simply doesn't cut it for you. So that is pretty much why the Panzer EBR 105 line is still a must-have tank in my opinion, but only sits at the number 5 position on this list. So, moving on to the number 4 spot on this list, where we have the German version of the race car in this game. It's of course the good old trusty Panzer 1C. So let's continue on with this list with a tank that is quite easy and fast to get for most World of Tanks players, and especially the beginners. But why should every World of Tanks player own a Panzer 1C? Well, I've addressed this a lot of times before already in my previous top 5 videos, but the main reason is the Panzer 1C ridiculous speed. Because with a top speed of 79 km per hour, this German race car is the fastest low tier vehicle in the entire game. And if that's not enough already, you can also add up the fact that it is incredibly well armored for its tier, and especially its class, since it's only a light tank. This means that it can actually semi-decently bounce most lower tiers and even some equal tiered guns when played properly. And to top it all off, the Panzer 1C has a devastating machine gun that can completely evaporate most lower and some equal tiered opponents in a single clip burst. If you manage to penetrate them, of course. Since sadly, it's not all roses and sunshine for the Panzer 1C, since its penetration is pretty poor for its tier. But that shouldn't spoil the fun of course, since its fast and maneuverable nature can make up for that little con quite well, since it has no trouble getting around and circling its victims. So overall, the Panzer 1C is definitely a massive and fun highlight in the German tech tree. So all in all, a well-worthy number 4 spot on this list. So moving on to the number 3 spot, where we have quite a famous British vehicle with a quite unique and often overlooked feature. And I'm of course talking about no other than the good old trusty Cromwell. So, before everyone is gonna go nuts in the comment section and say stuff that the Cromwell is irrelevant simply because of its flat out better premium counterpart, the Cromwell B, and yes, you are kinda right about that. But if you're actually thinking that way, you probably played so much in your premium Cromwell B that you almost forgot that the regular Cromwell B has a very fun and unique special feature up its sleeve, which is the 3.7-inch howitzer gun. No, I'm not joking. I really think that everyone should have a Cromwell with the 3.7-inch howitzer mounted in their garage, better known as the Derpwell. Why? Well, it's just simply too much fun. But you have to alter your playstyle a little bit in order for it to work and for you to truly have fun on the battlefield with this kind of setup. Because instead of supporting your heavies and engaging enemies from medium range like you would usually do in a Cromwell B for example, you instead go after lightly armored enemy tanks or look for the enemy's weakest sides and rears in order for that juicy 370 alpha damage to function properly. And if you combine that with the Derpwell's overall great speed and only a 6.5 seconds reload time on your howitzer, and if you can manage to master this slightly modified version of the Cromwell's playstyle, together with some occasional RNG, you can have an absolute blast cruising around the battlefield two-shotting every lightly armored tank you see, which will definitely help calm your nerves a bit from the sometimes painful and frustrating grind that World of Tanks has to offer. And just because of that, I think that every World of Tanks player should own a Derpwell, which also means that the Derpwell definitely is a well-worthy number 3 spot on this list. So, we are getting quite close to the end already, and since now we're gonna be moving on to the number 2 spot on this list, where we have quite a unique yet devastating British vehicle. And of course, it can be no other than the FV4005 Stage 2, or maybe better known as the Shipon. So who doesn't know this tier 10 British box tank? It's not particularly well known for its armor, nor its speed, or beauty. No, I think that most of you guys know that the Shipon is well known for its ridiculous 183mm hash firing stick of doom. That does a massive 1850 average damage for each penetrating hash round, which can bring you probably one of the most satisfying moments that you can possibly experience in World of Tanks, when that RNG hits and when everything goes right and you see that massive 1850 average damage pop up on your screen. It's just pure satisfaction. And even though the rest of the tank isn't that great overall, and the grind definitely isn't, since it even made an appearance on my top 5 worst lines to grind list, but the reward at the end, and especially the gun, more than makes up for it. So other than that, I have absolutely nothing more special to say about the Shipon, other than it is a very unique tank and extremely fun and satisfying tank when played right, of course. And that is why I think everyone should have this tank in their garage, which makes it a well-worthy number 2 spot on this list. So now, the moment you probably all have been waiting for, the number 1 spot and the absolute crucial and first tank that everyone should immediately get or grind when starting off in World of Tanks is the big, the bad, the mighty KV2. So I think I can be rather quick with this one, since who doesn't know about the KV2? Even if you've never played World of Tanks before, the chance is very apparent that you've already heard about this Soviet behemoth, because it truly is a hell of a unique and fun to play tank. And it's also kind of a World of Tanks business card in some way. But why is that? Well, that all has to do with the 152mm of pure communism you can unlock on this Stalinian beast. I just can't describe how much fun I had playing the tank back in the days, and also still very occasionally today. One-shotting everyone, not giving a damn about matchmaking or penetration, and not to forget those occasional crazy long distance shots only a Soviet tank can pull off in this game. Which is just an overdose of satisfaction and pride that you served the great leader Joseph Stalin himself by sending all the capitalist crap to the gulag, while spreading the word of the great and the one only true working and appreciated system that is communism. Too much? Okay, I'm sorry. But at least I hope this was enough bias to convince you to hop on your PC, PS4, Xbox or mobile phone right now to load up World of Tanks and to start grinding your way to the KV2 right away if you didn't have it unlocked already. And I guess that all of that is more than enough to be able to say that the KV2 is the first and most important must-have tank in World of Tanks, and a true number 1 spot on this list. So guys, that was all for today's World of Tanks top 5 videos. If you enjoyed the video or found it useful, then make sure to smash a like and hit subscribe to stay up to date with all my future content. Also, let me know in the comments down below what your top 5 must-have tanks in World of Tanks is. I'm very curious on your opinions as well. But for now, all that's left for me to say is, as always, have an awesome day, and I'll catch you guys later.
Jack it up.